to episode 5. We're talking about the power of positivity today. And we also have our first guest. Woo! I know her as McCage, but she is the Kimberly McCage. So excited to have you.
I'm so excited to be here.
We're so happy. Thank you for being our first guest, and you'll be a forgiving first guest, we're hoping.
Hopefully not the worst first.
Yes, and we said that once we're all ridiculously rich and famous, that we'll look back on Kimberly McCage, our first guest.
I'm Kimberly McCage, and today on Ladies Who Lead, we're talking about positivity. Not just the fake it till you make it kind, but the actual positivity that gets you through your day in those hard spots when we have to be the one to lead for other people.
How did y'all meet? How did this happen?
Yes. So we have sat on football teams together.
Yep.
I don't know. Do we do basketball together too?
No basketball.
No basketball,
Nope.
Just football. But this last year I went back into the classroom teaching, and McCage was my assistant principal. When I would tell people, like, I'm going back, and where I told them I was going back to, they're like, oh, McCage, she's the best. Oh, McCage. Like, oh, you're going to love it. She's the most wonderful.
I pay them to say that.
And so that's all I heard about her. She's legit. She lives up to it. So
Good.
I am so excited to have her here today.
You earned that spot, and we loved having you. So I was very excited to get to meet you in that way. It's different. Getting to meet you in your realm, because that's your realm, was amazing.
But she's leaving me. She's left me.
She's pivoting.
She's pivoting. Big time pivot.
Did you listen to our Permission to Pivot episode before you made your pivot?
I did. And I was like, what would Meryl do?
No, in all seriousness, congratulations. That was a huge move for you.
Thank you. We are so excited.
Tell us about yourself. So we have told everyone that listens to this basically everything about our life, our kids, our husbands, all the stuff that we do. And the whole point of this podcast is that whenever you're a lady who leads, you balance tons of different stuff. Tell us about your life, your family, all the hats you wear, everything.
I've been married for 22 years. I met my husband when we were in high school, got married young, knew I wanted to be in education, forever, and just worked my way through elementary school, and then really found my love in middle school because they're weird and I'm weird. So it was just like a match made in heaven. And went into leadership, got my master's degree and moved into a leadership position. And now have taken the step to be a principal, and
Ooh.
super excited about that. And I think that's it.
I love it. I'm super excited about our topic today
Let's hear it.
because we're talking about positivity. I've lived and breathed hardcore the choice of positivity lately. And so I'm pumped we get to talk about it because I feel like
but we're not talking about like the rainbows and butterflies positivity. We're like talking about real positivity.
Real positivity. Our episode is originally going to be called The Power of Positivity, but that we felt like, you know what? That's a thing that we've heard a lot of, and that this isn't fake. This isn't about pretending to be positive, pretending to be happy. It's about making a choice on your outlook in life, making a choice on how you're going to look at your day, how you're going to look at the tasks that you have, how you're going to look at your challenges, and how can you really effectively use the power of real positivity to change your life and your day and the effect that you have on the people around you.
I think it's important to say we talk about ladies who lead, and in education, that's primarily who leads. It's a little bit different than other workplaces. The majority of people I have worked with during my entire career have been women.
And it's a historically woman-led field.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I just
Back
want
when
to
it
put
was
that in
one-room
everyone's
schoolhouse.
like brain who's thinking it's not your common office workplace.
Mhm.
There's a
By no means.
no. Well, that could be a whole nother episode about why it's not the common workplace. I want to know what you consider as your leadership style.
So I don't think you can fit me in a box. I've been told this multiple times, but I don't think you can even fit my leadership style in a box. Number one, servant leadership. I think that's so important. I would never ask anyone to do something that I'm not willing to do myself. But the other is, I think that my empathetic nature, because I was a terrible student. And who goes in to become a principal and a teacher when they didn't even love school themselves? So I think that really plays into my leadership style. We're all people. And so I have a love of people. I'm a servant, but also I'm going to get it done. I have an enthusiasm and
She does.
I get up and go.
Oh, she does. I saw this question that asked, what's a common misconception about women in leadership? But I also want to know, what's a common misconception about you in particular that you think people might have?
I think a lot of people don't take me seriously. And I think that's because I have a sense of humor. Meryl, I don't know if you've ever.
You're not allowed to have a sense of humor
I
and be with
know.
me. You're not allowed to have a sense of humor and be in leadership.
I think I'm hilarious. I think that's one of my number one qualities.
I always feel like
I
But
agree.
I think you're hilarious.
My children do not think I'm funny.
Well, no, their opinion doesn't count.
I agree.
With the humor and leadership, how do you challenge that for those haters that think that it doesn't belong in leadership?
I just continue. I mean, I'm not changing who I am. So I just continue. And I think as people hear my ideas and they hear the things I have to say, then they kind of realize, oh, maybe she does know what she's talking about.
Or like finding your own leadership style and just going forward with that, even if people don't understand it at
I
first.
can't help it. So it
yeah,
is,
and,
it
that,
is-
and that it's not your job to convince people that you are worthy of being where you are. Like, you know, they
Just
can just be
watch
upset
me.
about it and you can figure it out. Yeah.
So if you ever doubt me or you don't take me seriously, just watch me.
What's a lesson you learned the hard way as a leader?
Oh, how to accept no. I think this year has been specifically, I've had to sit in the no. And I don't like being told no. I don't know how you feel about no, but I don't like it.
Well, Alex doesn't hear the word no. She just
Yeah, I didn't even
she's
hear what
like,
you were
oh,
talking
you
about.
said
I
yes.
was like-
Okay. But yes, I would agree with you. No is a hard one.
So you have to say, okay, and you have to accept it. You don't have to accept the forever outcome. You have to accept the now outcome. And you're like, okay, let's restructure. Because in my mind, I've already made 3 steps in the yes direction. I've made my notes. I've made my plan, A, B, C. This is D, E, F. I didn't even consider these things. So I think having to pivot and make changes and adjust. You know, you've already planned it out. You've planned it out 3 different ways. Didn't go the way that you wanted it. And so now we move forward with how do we make this work?
Right. I think sometimes we get stuck on what we think our path is. And then sometimes that's just not how it's going to work.
That's how
And-
I know God has a sense of humor.
Yes.
Because I have plans and I say this is going to happen and I put it out in the universe. And I've heard you 2 ladies talk about your dads. I also am a dad caller. So I call my dad and he listens and he's like, well, I hope that works out for you. And so I know that he's thinking, what is she talking about? But then sometimes God puts things into play and it's like, oh, that was not what I wanted or not what I expected. And so we pivot, we change, and then we make other plans.
And I
like
think
it.
sometimes those other plans can turn out better than what you even had planned for yourself
always.
from the beginning.
I think about that. What if everything in my life had always gone the way that I wanted it to go? I don't even know where I would be right now.
All right. And if you could give advice to the next generation of women leaders, what would it be? So I think, of course, like in our profession, of all the fresh new teachers starting out, I could be their mom.
Yes.
Yes.
And I used to be that person.
Yes.
I looked around
I know.
and I was like,
what happened? I used to be the young person and now I'm the old.
I know,
The old
and-
person.
being in a leadership position, I shouldn't say this, but I look around for the person making decisions and I'm like, oh, that's me.
That's you.
Oh, okay. That happened quickly.
Meryl and I have said that. We're like, I can't believe we're the grown-ups.
I'm like, who lets us do this?
Scary, isn't it? I think you stick with it and you learn what works for you, and what works for someone else isn't what's going to work for you. And this whole FOMO, like your fear of missing out if you don't try this or if you don't do this, you've got to keep it simple. I had a priest once tell me, Kimberly, KISS, keep it simple, stupid.
Love
it's like
that.
priests can't
Keep it
say
simple,
stupid,
stupid.
but they did. He did. And he's so right. Keep it simple. Find what works for you and do it to the best of your ability.
Being a woman in leadership, we face criticism. It's inevitable. Not all the time, but it is something we face. What do you do? How do you cope with that?
So I cope with that by just showing up every day. You show up and you do the things. And sometimes it's a hard address. Like you have to address a situation, but sometimes you have to be able to accept that you're not everybody's cup of tea. So you keep doing what's best and you have your end game in mind, and not like the end of the world game, but like, what is our goal? You stay goal oriented, you stay even with all people, and you have to keep showing up.
I like that. Even with all people. What do you mean by that? Like,
Because in your head, you're saying, ooh, I don't like this person. And I know you may have something playing in your head.
yes. Oh,
you know?
yes.
Mhm. Bad words, whatever
Yes.
they may be. But that's not for here nor there. That's for patio with your husband or your trusted girlfriend. that can't ever come out.
So remaining professional,
Remaining professional.
even when the voices inside don't want you to.
One of the hardest things that you'll do. And that's a form of positivity because
Absolutely.
you're not going to love everyone and everyone's not going to love you. You have to accept that.
And I think it's the same thing like in life and with positivity, that there is strength in knowing what you're really good at and what is different about you. Because I don't think that any of it is weakness. I think that weakness is something that you don't understand. I think that everything that you understand about your life and about how your brain works is a strength, even if it's something that you think differently about. As adults, as women who are leading families, leading our communities, leading businesses, that we can be cognizant of how people are different, but that because we're leading with positivity, because we're leading with empathy, because we're leading with understanding, that we can say, you know what, this is how each of these people contribute to what's going on and how to kind of like reframe. And so that I think that a thing that we don't do a good enough job of as adults dealing with adults is giving them the benefit of the doubt that this is their first time.
We've talked about that before. In the classroom or when you're dealing with kids, it's easy to understand why they might be behaving a certain way. I have more empathy sometimes not sometimes, most of the time for kids. Cause I'm like, this is why. And let's see if we can get to the root of the problem. But with adults, sometimes you said, if you want to change something, just change something. What's your problem?
If you haven't figured it out by now.
You haven't figured out what's your problem.
Goodness.
Yeah.
But it's giving that empathy. I want to go back to what we started with, and that was all the hype of having McCage in the school that I was working at. And I will tell you, she lives up to all the hype. But I think it is because of the positivity that you just exude and share with everyone. And there's trust that's built from that positivity. And I want to know if you think that is true or helpful, if that positivity allows that trust to be built in community and schools, and how that affects you.
Trust is hard because we don't naturally, as humans, I don't think we naturally just trust. I don't think that's something that we immediately do. Not everyone. I mean, I like to think I'm awesome, but also I want to think that it's because I've done something, or that I've listened, or that I've taken the time, or that I've done something to build that. I don't want anyone to just blindly trust me, because I don't think that's a good habit to be in, honestly.
Right.
Because you can't. There's too many bad things out there. But I think that showing up every day, I think that relating to people, making jokes, oh my gosh, showing up and knowing when you know that if you ask me to do something, I'm going to do it. And I think that knowing that at the end of the day, kids and people are our business. Let's take everything that is business and then turn it into a person, because that's what we're about. You're a person. You don't just come to work every day like a robot. I know that. I have bad days. I'm going to show up for you just like I'm going to show up for every kid. And I think that's what's important. And I think that honestly, when you see that in a person over and over and over again, you do build that trust and you begin to make those relationships.
Absolutely.
And there's not a kiddo in our world and not an adult in our world that I wouldn't do anything for. And I think that
I think they feel that.
I
think
so.
They see that. I think they feel that. And that's what I hear in the community. And that's what I hear from school. The kids love you. The parents love you. The teachers love you. Like, it is a thing.
It's humbling, because I hope that that's what I exude. But that's a lot of weight to carry too, you know?
Yes.
But I'm here for it. And that's who I am.
You fit in perfectly with our group because we're like fiercely, aggressively, we love you. We care about you.
I'm aggressively helpful.
Yeah. I have so much positivity and care about you. Gosh dang it. And that's what I feel from you is I care about you, whether you believe me or not.
And it's authentic.
Do you need somebody to cheer you on from the side of the pool today? I'm there.
You see?
Do you need me to cheer you on at baseball? It's really hot. I'm going to be at the pool, but I'll text you some very positive
Emotionally
things.
from the pool, we can support you at the at baseball.
Feel about that. I'll be sitting in my own pool of sweat.
Yeah, it'll be the same.
I'll be sitting in my
You just say, from a positive perspective, I'll be basically sitting in a pool.
Nope, from a positive perspective. My son is pitching today, and I won't miss that.
Yeah.
Nope, won't miss that.
You're so right. I will say one thing that moms do is we joke about, I catch myself doing this all the time because I'll joke about, oh, I have to make dinner. Oh, I have to go to baseball. Oh, I have to do this. But I'm so thankful that I get to do that. But it is fun with other moms to say, my
No,
gosh.
I feel like it's such a privilege
It's such
to
a
be able
privilege.
to do,
Yeah.
especially the parenting part. Not always. I don't always feel like it's a privilege. I'm not going to be fake like that.
When I think
But
about-
but no, the dinners, the driving to and from sports, the sleepovers, the watching all the sports, sitting there sweating my butt off. I wouldn't miss it.
So now I want to give our listeners some replacement behaviors. And we've talked about this intentionality.
Yes.
Is being intentional is something that I think is really important. My sister just called me a premium adult. She said, I know.
You're like moving up.
Woo! So my little sister said, I don't even remember what she was talking about, but I said, you're the same way. And she said, because I said, you're a grown up too. And she said, yeah, but you're a premium grown up. And I'm like, oh. So everyone that's listening to this, you are a premium grown up.
Thank you, Mom and Dad, for listening.
Thank you, Mom. You are a premium upgraded adult, okay? And that it's time for you to start doing premium upgraded adult stuff. And so we're going to give you some actionable tools. We want you to do this. We'll know if you don't. We want you to take some steps to create a more positive environment. We want you to create a more positive outlook, a more positive life for yourself, because your situation does not have to change for your outlook to change. And I'll tell you from experience that even though I hate the phrase like check your privilege because I think it oversimplifies some stuff, but this is a time where I'll say, I'll check my privilege. That right now I am very privileged to live, to have built a life with my family that I can do stuff like this morning. I got up and walked to the freaking pool and did water aerobics with my little cute niece. And so I feel very privileged to be able to do that. But that on a really bad day, I still have the privilege of choosing positivity. And so we're each going to share some tools on how do we reset and choose positivity, because positivity is not a genetic trait that you have. It's not something that you had to have growing up. You don't have to get this from anywhere. You build it yourself.
I'll share one simple thing. And this isn't like rocket science. It's blasting music and dancing around, usually to a song that's completely inappropriate. Turning up the music, dancing around, letting it out, just letting it go and kind of just like shaking it up and then, okay, let's reset. Let's go from there.
I think making the decision and getting into a habit, whether it be the first thing in the morning. Some people say, make your bed.
My mom says that, and I don't do it.
I don't do it either. But
what a good idea.
Yeah, what a grand idea.
If it works for you, go ahead and try it.
But I set that alarm. I have intentional 15 minutes in the morning, and then I do the one thing that's for me, maybe in the entire time, is workout for my entire day. It's my routine, and it's what sets up my day for success.
I think being intentional about who you spend your time with everything going on with work and school and sports and not wanting to miss out on any of that, there's not a lot of free time left over. And especially as you age, you feel like you need to be really intentional about who you choose to spend that time with. And sometimes there's been people that I love that just maybe complain too much about their husbands or something else. It's just the same conversation every time. That's not where I'm at. I don't need that. So I think really choosing who you want to surround yourself with.
Yeah. And I think that there's probably some merit to when you have a friend that's a little more negative, a little more complainy, to try and help, give them some guidance and give them some coaching, but it's not your job. Right. So you can be a source of support and encouragement, but that doesn't mean that you have to stay in that space forever. That if someone's like
with the best of them,
if someone's like sucking your energy, you have to start making decisions
energy
about
vampires.
Yeah, an energy vampire. Do you watch What We Do in the Shadows?
All the right words.
I love her. I'm obsessed. No, I agree. The whole reason that I was excited when you talked, this was Meryl's episode idea, even though I've talked the entire time. And then I was really happy about it.
Well, you just didn't know it was yours.
Yeah.
I just had to tell you.
Meryl gave me my idea for this episode.
And also I had the perfect guest.
Yes. And she had the perfect guest.
Shucks.
I have been so purposely positive lately that I felt really excited to get to share that, because I feel like this is a topic that I have really actionable tools that I can give the people that listen to this.
You have, because I may have called you the other day with a little bit of a gripey gripe, and then you're like, well, I'm working on changing my whole intention for the day, and I've changed my perspective. I'm like, well, I guess I better get on board and do the same.
Yeah, because I feel like these are your options. We'll take it back to in the hospital. Okay. My left side doesn't work. Stuff is not cool, right? And I had to have a conversation pretty quickly about what are your rehab goals. So my choices were in that moment, stay incapable and miserable, be in pain and never live a good and normal life, and just be, well, this is the circumstances, just got to take what life throws at you. This is what happened.
Well, we knew that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah. So that was the option was, okay, well, I guess I'm the victim of these circumstances. Or I said, screw it. You know what? I already survived. I might as well live. You don't have to almost die for that to happen.
So that's my thing, and not to take away from the uniqueness of your situation, but a lot of times people have this realization when something has happened that's significant.
Don't wait for that.
But how do we get to that point?
You're born again every day.
Yeah.
You wake up every single day, and you are given, and I'm not trying to be spiritual here, but you're given a new shot
I'm always
every
ready to
single
be
day.
spiritual. You're
Let's
cool.
do it.
Yeah.
You're given a new shot every day. So just because something went crappy yesterday, you start over every single day. You get a fresh start every day. It's not January 1st that gives you a fresh start. It's not, I don't know if there's another day. I'm sure that somebody starts something over. But every day is that. So decide. It doesn't have to wait till Monday.
Yep.
You can start something new on a Wednesday.
And then you can also do it in the middle of the day on Wednesday.
You can do it at 12 o'clock on Wednesday or 2:30.
Yeah, you can always
And that you
start
can
over.
be really aggressively, negatively, grouchily positive. You can say, screw this day. This day has been so crappy and so annoying and so negative. Everything has gone wrong, and I will not let it mess up the rest of my day.
I've started over so many times. I run, not fast, but I run. And I used to could run 10 miles. I ran a marathon in 2017. I'll never in a million years do that again. But then I couldn't run a mile and a half just because I stopped. And so I'm running and I'm saying bad words the whole time. I hate this. This is the most awful thing ever. And then it's over and I'm like, look what I just did.
Yeah, look what I just did. Yeah.
And then I have a great day. And I'm still, the next day I'm running and I'm like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever done. And positivity doesn't mean that you're lying to yourself about what hurts, because it hurt.
Yeah, we've been sold a discounted version of positivity.
Well, right. When you say positivity, just the word, I do think of like,
I love
yes,
running.
everything's wonderful.
No, positivity is, by gosh, I'm going to have a good day. Ugh. And I can't tell you how often I do that, where I have to say, I'm not letting this mess up my day. I'll tell you another thing. Do not let a bad day convince you that you have a bad life. And I have to remind myself that all the time, because everything can go wrong for most of a day. That doesn't mean that you have a bad life. It means that stuff is happening, and then you can go, okay, do I let this go home with me for the rest of the night? Should I take this out on all my kids and my husband? Like, how far do I take my negativity? Should I just let this spill out on everyone else? Do you remember back in the very first couple days of COVID, first couple weeks, and we didn't understand how the germ spread, what the seriousness was. We didn't understand what any of this was. And that we were all starting to realize, oh my gosh, how our germs worked. Like, we all became hyper aware of how we
and
spread.
hyper aware of who didn't wash their hands.
Yeah, we became hyper aware of how we spread our germs. And that I would ask that you remember that now and be hyper aware of how you spread your energy, because you are contagious. Whatever vibe you have is going to get on everyone else, and that it can either be negative, you can bring them all down, and it's going to affect your children, your spouse, the people that you work with, your friends. Be cognizant of, who am I spreading these energy germs to? And that if I can just be in a bad mood, then I can just be in a good mood, because I'm a full grown up capable of hard things.
And just the same, who you surround yourself with, because it is contagious. And to stay in that same mindset, it is so good to surround yourself with like-minded people.
So I want to hear actual activities. What are some actual tools, resources? What can you do to reset your day? Whether it's the beginning of the day, the middle of the day, what can you do? Because I have some, but I want to hear from you.
For me, sometimes it's just taking 15 minutes, 10 minutes away in quiet to rethink and figure out what my intentions are for the day.
I'm a writer, so I write things down. I don't need to journal necessarily. I do journal, but not long journals, but every day before I left my office for a school year, I wrote down the best thing that happened, not what the best thing that could happen, but the best thing that happened to me. When I walked out the door, instead of taking the negative with me, I took the positive with me, because that's the last thing I thought of before I left my office.
Yep. And there's some science too, and we've talked about this before on other episodes. There's some science to, you can't feel negativity, doubt, depression, anything like that when you're feeling gratitude. You can't, they use the same part of your brain, and you can't feel gratitude while you feel other stuff. I have some simple tricks. One of the things is I will put on a good song. I have a set of mood changing songs right now.
Always helps.
Yeah. So it helps so much. Right now it's Break My Stride by Matthew Wilder. And that if I listen to that, it will totally change my attitude. It'll hype me up. But the other thing I do is stop. And sometimes you're having to do it through gritted teeth and through irritation. And I try and list the stuff that I'm grateful for, and it changes my outlook. So even if it's not that I'm grateful for in that moment. So like right now, I am grateful that we are in this really cool podcast studio, and that we have a really cool producer helping us. And then we have an awesome guest with us that has the same energy, and I'm getting to pet this puppy, and we're comfortable, and it's the middle of the day, and that we have good weather. There's so much good. And so
there is so much good.
There's so much good.
And taking the time to realize that even in the small things, I know that's so cliche to say, the small things, but that's what
scientific.
life is all about, is all those little small things put together that makes your day, that makes your year.
I found the thing that was smelling in my car this morning, and it's gone now. And so that's positive.
You have something
right?
that you won. Yeah. I love it. That's
But that's
exactly
your
how you,
perspective. It's gone now, and it smells normal
because
again.
what we do normally is that we are going to notice everything that goes wrong in a day. We're going to notice everything that's missing.
And I think the negativity is so much easier to take in, and it sticks to you more.
Well, yeah,
And
it's
you
like a
have to-
survival mechanism. So
Yeah.
we're hardwired to notice what is going wrong.
Yeah.
So that we can
And
fix
you
it,
have
so
to
that we can avoid
actively
it.
look for what is going positive, what is good. And when you do that, that really changes your perspective.
And so I've told so many people, I have a lot of people on social media that'll see me in real life and be like, oh my gosh, it looks like everything's going really well in your life. And it is. It really is. But the truth is, and I've told everybody that'll hear me whenever they're like, oh my gosh, looks like you're doing so much stuff, that I go, you know what's crazy is the stuff with my kids hasn't changed. My financial situation hasn't changed. Our house is a disaster. My dogs are annoying. My kids are making a mess. Like our situation is the same. Everything is crazy. You know, I still have a mother-in-law. All this stuff is still the same. I still have people that call me every single day for problems, or I get tagged in negative stuff, or people think that I'm a bad mother, or a bad council member, or a bad neighbor, or whatever. So none of that stuff has changed. The only thing that has changed is my outlook. And that it has been a life-changing change. And that's why I'm so passionate in talking about it, is that nothing else in your life. So that's what we want to leave you with today, is nothing in your life has to change. You are in control of how you look at stuff. And we're just happy that you're here with us today.
And we also want to know what you do. You've heard from us, but we would love for you to share how you manage your positivity. How do you get through the day? What do you do? We would love to hear your tricks.
Absolutely. We could always take on more. I mean, we can't do more necessarily in our 24 hours, but we can always have different ways of looking at what's positive. What do you do? And maybe that works for me too.
We've given you a lot today to think about, to listen to us rant about,
And thank
whatever.
goodness Kimberly has brought all the right vocabulary
I'm
today.
so impressed.
Like,
we have to bring her back every time.
No one that
basically.
knows me outside of today is going to believe that we just said that.
I love it. I love it so much. Well, we want you to leave with today, because I think it's so important to change your freaking outlook. Change your outlook. And you can do it at any time. You can do it right now while you're listening to this podcast. We want to leave you with some tips on how to reset your outlook right now. And I'm going to pretend like I'm the expert on it, because I'm going to tell you what I do.
Well, when I call you, I feel like you're the expert. So go ahead.
I am. I am the expert on positivity. This is what I want you to do. Stop. Whenever you realize that you are being negative, a mother she's not my mother, but a mother that I grew up with used to call it stinky thinking. Whenever you have stinky thinking, whenever you realize that your outlook, your thought process is not serving you, it's not positive, it's not helpful, I want you to stop and decide, because you're a grown woman, decide, I'm not continuing like this. I'm going to reset right now, no matter what. And whatever you have to do to reset your attitude, what I have to do is take a breath, literally take a deep
there's
breath.
science to that
Yeah.
too.
take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And that the more that you do it, I always feel like if I breathe in through my nose, I'm cooling my frontal cortex, prefrontal cortex, and that you're cooling off the part of your body that is stressed out. So take a couple deep breaths in and go, you know what? I'm in charge of how I feel. I'm in charge of what I do. And you're going to do something that resets your mood. For me, it's listening to music and listing some stuff that I'm thankful for. And I have to do it.
For me, it's yes, you can prepare for the worst case scenario, but also after you've done all the preparing for that, think about what's the best that could happen in a situation and also be aware of that and have that on your mind.
Yeah.
And also take inventory of the good things that are happening around you.
Yeah.
Whether it's something that happened to you or around you, write it down. Think about it, because that's that next step in positive thinking.
So we're going to pause. We're going to reset. We're going to appreciate. And then we're going to go.
Move forward.
We're going to act. We're going to move forward. And that you said something. You said any forward movement is positive.
Yes.
And so that's what you're going to take with you, is that you said, okay, Alex, okay, Meryl, okay, Kimberly, I took a breath. I stopped. I reset.
I turned on the best song ever.
I turned on the song and I still don't feel great. Then you say, screw that. I'm not going to let this decide how my day goes. I'm having a good day, damn it.
And it might not change it immediately.
Yeah.
It's going to take practice.
Yeah, but you're in charge.
Yeah.
You are in charge.
You
Make the
decide the
decision.
next step.
Yeah.
Yep.
So own that if you are a boss babe, if you're not a boss babe in any other situation in your life, be a boss babe on your freaking life and say, I can do this. I'm going to change how I.
And you're
Nobody
the
else is in
only
charge.
one that can do
Yeah.
it.
Either you're the leader or you're the follower.
Yeah.
And if you can't lead your own life, you should be in charge of other people's.
Yep. Cool. Well, thank you for joining us today. Meryl, wrap us up.
Well, first, for our official first guest, I have a little gift.
Ooh.
Ooh, I like gifts.
So this is from River Blue.
In Northlake.
Yes, it's one of our lovely boutiques in Northlake.
I drove past it to come here.
Yes.
And Maddie, the owner, is
Yes.
another good lady who leads. We love her.
She's going to be on the podcast.
Yeah, at
too.
some point. She
Yes.
doesn't know that
She
yet.
doesn't- well, she does.
Okay,
but,
good.
I mean, it's coming. So I went in there to go get you something, and then I stumbled across something that I thought was perfect. So there you go.
Do you want me to open it?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Toxic positivity. Is it a fart?
It's a candle.
Oh.
It's a candle, so you can
Burn
burn
it.
it.
Can you tell she's a middle school principal?
Like, is it a fart?
Is it a fart?
Is it very
Toxic
pleasant?
positivity, burn it down.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yep.
Thank you.
We like
well,
that.
thank you.
And that's
thank
true.
you
So that's your.
much.
How about you read that candle to us and then give us your closing thoughts? Because I think burning down the toxic positivity is a good thing to end on.
Toxic positivity. And I said, burn it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Burn it, light it, get rid of all the negativity, because you are positive. You are going to move forward in a positive light. So you don't need toxic positivity. You don't need negativity. Burn it down.
Woo! Thank you for joining us today on episode 5.
We've done this 5 times now. Thank you to all of our listeners and everyone. We've been receiving so much feedback about it, and we're so excited to keep going.
And this is something we've had so much fun with, and that I want to keep it going. I'm so happy that you guys are having fun with us, and we'll have more guests, and we probably have to have Kimberly come back because I'm obsessed with her now.
Oh, she's coming back.
I
Already.
love her.
She's
Yeah.
coming.
I'm ready already.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you guys love Kimberly as much as we do, tell us. If you hated it, don't tell us. Don't tell us.
I don't
Keep
need
it to
that kind
yourself.
of negativity.
We're
Keep
burning
it.
it down. We don't need that negativity. Awesome. Well, thank you, ladies, so much for doing this. This is so
And we'll see you
fun.
next time.
We'll see you next time.